Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Callan here with Droid Life. Yep, we've got a OnePlus 2 in-house, finally. We don't need to go into why or why not. We finally have one and didn't have one a month ago. But the point is, we now have one. So we're going to get into this thing. We're going to talk about the OnePlus 2 a little bit. We thought we'd unbox it to at least show you that we do have one now. And then share some of those initial impressions, just sort of recap what the OnePlus 2 is in case you've already forgotten. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and get into a review. Tim's going to have this bad boy. He's going to dedicate his life to it for a week or two and help you guys decide or share some thoughts on, or at least some opinions, therefore, towards the OnePlus 2 and where it stands in terms of smartphones for right now. Are you settling if you buy it? Are you not settling? Is it a flagship killer for this year's phones or next year's phones? What's the deal? There's a lot of drama here, and there's an invite system, and it's pretty controversial phone. So we're going to talk about it, and yeah. But again, we're just going to unbox it for now. I'm going to unbox it for now, and I'll let Tim get to all that other stuff. So we went with, obviously, the 64 gig version. There's also a 16 gig version. As a reminder, the 64 gig version is $389, and the other version is $329, I believe. So here's the phone. It's been a while since I've held it. I did do a whole bunch of hands-on stuff with this when it was first announced, and actually enjoyed my time with it. So it should be a fun review to go through. In the box, though, here is just guide stuff. They do nice packaging. You have to give that to OnePlus. Here is your USB or your power adapter, and then this would be the USB Type-C port. Keep in mind, this is not a brand new Type-C port that does fast charging or fast data transfer or anything like that. It's basically a USB 2.0 port that's been shaped into a USB Type-C. So no fast charging, no wireless charging, no turbo charging, any of that stuff, but you do get the new adapter, which is something, potentially. We also picked up a couple of style swap covers in case you guys want to see any of those. This is the black apricot, I believe it's called, and then this is obviously bamboo. They do make Kevlar, and I think there's another back or two. We went the two wood options because, well, they look the nicest. And then here's the phone. So we'll just kind of unwrap this thing here. So it comes now in sandstone black. And so the OnePlus One, which was one of my favorite phones of last year, had sandstone black on its 64 gig version, I believe, and the 16 gig I think was white. And the sandstone black was one of the coolest textures I'd ever felt on a phone. So I'm really glad to see that they brought this back again here. It feels about the same. It's kind of it's maybe a little rougher this year, but that could soften up with some use. Overall, though, it's just a unique texture that feels great. So let's just hold power out and fire it up, and let's talk specs. So as a reminder, runs a Snapdragon 810 64-bit octa-core processor. That would be the Snapdragon 810 that's been in all sorts of controversial headlines over overheating and not overheating and whatever is going on there. So they went with the 810. They say it's not going to overheat. Guess we'll find out. This model with 64 gig of internal storage has 4 gig of RAM. The 16 gig version has 3 gig of RAM. So this has the maxed out 4 gig of RAM. No micro SD card slot in here though, so you are stuck with just that 64 gig of storage. It has a fingerprint sensor down here on the bottom. You can see it right there. And it's really fast. You guys probably saw our video previously about how fast that was, and it's a really nice fingerprint sensor. So let's skip all of this stuff so you guys can at least see the phone. Skip, more next, and more setup. There's a whole bunch of things you can customize in here. We'll get into those in probably a later video. But keeping on with specs, so there's that fingerprint sensor down there. There's a 3,300 milliamp hour non-removable battery here in the back. You do have dual SIM slots in this phone, so if you want to, hold on one second. Google keyboard, next. There we go. So if you do want to have a couple of SIMs in here in case you are traveling abroad or something like that, it does support that. It's got LTE, obviously. Bluetooth 4.1, has a bottom-facing speaker, and I do not believe those are two speakers. It's probably just channeled through a single speaker there. I don't think it's like a dual stereo thing going on there. 5.5-inch 1080p display here on the front. So 1080p, not quad HD, and I actually don't have a problem with that. 1080p displays obviously aren't going to I guess I should say, they're not going to guzzle battery life like a Quad HD display was. So in theory, this phone with that 3300 milliamp hour battery and 1080p display should be really great in terms of battery life. On the back here, we have a 13 megapixel camera. You can see the flash there. Also has laser autofocus, optical image stabilization, all of that good stuff. It's an f2.0 lens. On the front, we do have a 5 megapixel camera up top there, so you should get some really great selfies if you're into selfies and all of that stuff. Again, you do have that USB Type-C port down here on the bottom. It's not fast, not going to allow for fast charging or fast data transfer or anything like that. I believe it's just micro USB 2.0, so it's just shaped like USB Type-C. In terms of the device's build, you are looking at a metal frame going around the outside, and it feels quite premium in hand. I mean, OnePlus did a really nice job with finishing touches here on this phone. So you do have that really nice premium metal build. Again, the sandstone black, which I'm a fan of. I don't know that everyone's going to love that. And then you have the LCD display here, fingerprint sensor. So you can actually turn on some options here. You could go with on-screen buttons, sort of like the OnePlus One, or you can use these capacitive buttons down here along with a home button. So you can kind of go Samsung style or on-screen more Moto Nexus style if you want. So some different options there. Definitely some flexibility there. Oh, it looks like there's some form of screen protector on here, which is going to drive me nuts. So we're going to try to peel that off. There we go. That was easy. So overall, this just reminds me a lot of what I felt when I first picked it up. It feels, I don't want to say small because it's still a 5.5 inch display, but I'm coming from a a Moto X Pure Edition, which is 5.7, and a Note 5, which is 5.7. Those devices all feel big. This actually doesn't feel that big in hand, which is kind of nice. So again, designed well, but again, we mentioned, you know, there was some drama here. So no fast charging, no wireless charging, and of course, no NFC in this phone. So if you wanted to use Android Pay or a payment system coming up, you're not going to be able to do that in terms of NFC. So OnePlus said no one uses NFC, and they took it out, and they're not apologizing for that. So that's obviously an issue. So that's one of those things. If you're into NFC, you can't use this phone because it doesn't have NFC. You can use this phone, you just can't use NFC. Also, there's the whole invite system here. We know people are waiting in line. Apparently, they have 5 million people on their reservation list, and who knows if they're fulfilling that. They just apologized this week for being a little bit slow and delayed and botching the launch this time around. So it's tough to say if you're going to be able to get one of these soon or not. It is running 5.1.1 and also Oxygen OS version 2.0.1 out of the box. I think they do have a whole bunch of software fixes on the way because there's just bugs and stuff. So that's going to get improved as well. And that's pretty much it. This is OnePlus 2. It's in-house, and yeah, Tim will tell you everything else you need to know about it. This is just a quick unboxing. So if you guys have comments, questions, or need anything else answered, we will get to those. Otherwise, Droid Life. Peace.